Okay, so what we're going to work on right now is using scientific notation. Right, converting numbers to scientific notation or from scientific notation. Okay, keep in mind that scientific notation is a way of expressing numbers that are usually very large or very small. Okay, you can use scientific notation to express any number, but the purpose of it is to express large or small numbers. Now, scientific notation has a very specific format, and if you recognize that format and how it should look, then it's very easy to do your conversions. Okay, and the way that format is set up is you have a number that is not 0, a number other than 0, to the left of a decimal point. Okay, and you can have numbers to the right, 1, 2, you can't have more, usually not. Okay, and so you have one number to the left of the decimal point that is not a 0, and the numbers to the right can be any numbers. You're going to have an x times sign, 10 to the power of something. Okay, and so blank decimal whatever times 10 to the whatever. One example would be something like 1.2 times 10 to the 7th, or 2.5 times 10 to the minus 3rd. You get the drift, okay? This is what a scientific notation format looks like. And so if you see something like 25.2 times 10 to the 3rd, this has two numbers to the left of the decimal point and does not line up with that, and so that is incorrect. Just as 0.57 times 10 to the 8th, there is a 0 here, okay? This has to have a number that is non-zero, and so this also is not the correct format, right? So has to have one digit to the left that is a non-zero. Let's do some conversions to see how we can figure this out. Now that you know how it should look, now we just need to figure out how to get it in that place. For instance, 0.0000083. Okay, we want this expressed in scientific notation. Well, what we need to do is find our first non-zero number, which is 8. Okay, 8 needs to end up in this position right here. And so here's where we would want that decimal point, in between the 8 and the 3. Well, all we have to do is find out how many spots do we need to move this decimal point in order to make that spot. And so let's count it. Here's our decimal point now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we need to move our decimal point 5 spaces to get it in the right format. And if we do that, we end up with 8.3, right, which is good. That's how that's supposed to look, times 10 to the minus 5. Okay, well, why is it a minus 5? Okay, well, an easy way to remember this is that if you have a number and that number falls between 0 and 1, meaning that you have a number that is less than 1, you're always going to have a negative exponent. If your number is greater than 1, okay, so 1 to infinity, then you're going to have a positive exponent. For instance, 5,800, okay? We have the number 5,800. We want to express that as scientific notation. And so here's our decimal point right now, 5800.00. How many times do we need to move that decimal point to get it where we want it? Well, we have to decide where we want it. We want one number to the left of the decimal point. Right now we have 4 numbers. And so we want our decimal point right here, which means we need to move this spot, this digit, 1, 2, 3 spaces, which will give us 5.8 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3. Okay, note that it is a positive exponent because our number is greater than 1. Okay? And so let's do a couple more examples here. Just follow along and make some room. Let's say our number is 0.007. Okay? And we want to express this as scientific notation. And so we want our decimal point with one number to the left. And so here is our 7. So this would be where we'd want our decimal point, right here. And so we need to move our decimal point 1, 2, 3 spots. And so we'd end up with 7.0 times 10 to the minus 3. What if our number is, let's say 6, 5, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 650 million. Well, our decimal point right now is there, and we want it right here. Right? This is where we want our decimal point to be if we have scientific notation, and so we need to move this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots to give us 6.5 times 10 to the 8th. Positive exponent because our number is bigger than 1. Here it's negative because our number is less than 1. Okay? And so hopefully that will help you to do scientific notation.